Hello guys, Fish767 here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to go over a very powerful Spellbook Demonslayers build. And just to show you how powerful it is, I'll go ahead and show you where I am in the game. And I think that that'll be proof enough of its strength. First thing to take note of is the 2 billion toxic blizzard damage and the half a billion Nova Cleave damage, and the fact that the spells are all pretty high level. But if you take a look at the top of the screen, you can see that my minutes played is about 1,020, and I've got 1 million demons slayed and almost 480 astral flowers gained. And my FPS is only 4, so there is that. It is a very laggy build, but when you get this far into the game, all the builds are pretty laggy anyway. Another thing to take note of is my energy shield, which has a maximum of 10,014. You can see it down here, but there's actually a display glitch in the main menu. It's not supposed to go that high. And my maximum health is 1,000 some, but it's actually effectively 770 because some of my health is reserved. So I'll go ahead and go over everything that you need for this. So the two, absolutely you have to have them skills are Toxic Blizzard and Smoke Barrage. The reason being, Toxic Blizzard inflicts a debuff that makes any monsters that freeze, it makes them lose a percentage of their health every second. So you have to have that, because eventually the monsters get so much health that it doesn't matter how much damage your skills do, unless you're doing a percentage of their health, it won't kill them. And then Smoke Barrage gives you a buff after you cast it for 3 seconds, which increases your dodge chance. And that's how I've been able to have a dodge chance of 52%, although it was up to 65% at one point, so I don't know exactly if the buff can stack or how I got it up higher, but the highest that it's supposed to be is, actually it is supposed to be 52% as the highest, so I don't have the buff right now. Let me show you what it looks like when we get the buff back. And the only reason I don't have the buff is because of cast speed and cooldowns and the fact that we're on a couple frames a second. But with the buff, we're at 65% dodge chance, and so throughout the majority of the game, you'll be at 65% until you hit the really late in game where your frames drop from 15 frames a second down to 4. Our damage reduction is over 100%, which means the damage heals us. It's not always that way, but it is for 5 seconds out of every 12 seconds. So about half the time, your damage reduction is so high that things actually heal you instead of making you take damage. And so that's kind of the important thing about the build. We have a lot of regeneration. We gain regeneration when we hit enemies because of our Madam Death skills. And Nova Cleave was just a fun one that I wanted to add in because it deals damage based on a percentage of your energy shield. And so it actually deals about 2,000 base damage by itself. And so for the longest time, Nova Cleave was actually our most damaging skill, until we got into the very late game where monsters started to have so much health that Toxic Blizzard, the 1% just added up. And so then as far as Freezing Rain, we run that because its evolution makes it so that when you freeze an enemy by any skill, they explode, dealing a percentage of their health as damage. And that's very useful for us because everything that we have has a percentage chance to freeze. So let me go over what we don't want. These are the things that you can just banish. You can banish Revengeance because the explosions will toss your FPS down the drain really quickly. We don't want Bloodletting, we don't want Lethality, and we basically don't use that because we can't crit, and so having critical multiplier doesn't do anything for us. We don't want Nightshade because we can't crit. Intensity is not helpful. Enlighten we don't want, although you could take maybe 1 or 2 levels into it because it's basically a free skill, and if you reserve up to 50% of your health, you'll get damage reduction based on the amount of health reserved. So it's kind of helpful for that part. We don't want Deadly Aim because we don't want crit chance. I banished Clairvoyance after I got the 4th level and evolved it because I didn't need any more levels of it. And then I banished Magma Access because that was just a random spell that I picked up that I didn't want to level up. I used it to turn it into either Toxic Blizzard or Smoke Barrage, which are spells that you have to get from the Smuggler's Shrine. So as far as our auras go, we picked Clairvoyance up and we picked it 4 times, and that includes the 1 time that we took to evolve it. So we really only picked it 3 times, and then we picked its evolution. And so we did the same thing for Brain Power. For Juggernaut, we bought as many of those as we could. It increases knockback and max HP, and we need a lot of HP because we're going to turn all of that HP, well, roughly 75% of that HP into base energy shield, which we're then going to increase even further, which is how we end up with 10,000 energy shield. So you take Thickening, which gives you maximum HP and additional armor, and we need that armor because a lot of the upgrades that we're going to take are going to reduce our armor, so this kind of offsets that. We took Mending, we took 4 of those and its evolution. And we were able to do that because of our Malice level. You have to have a Malice level of at least 30 if you want this to work, because that will give you an additional aura level on all your auras just for free, which is how we were able to get such high HP. If you didn't do that, you'd probably be looking closer at 9,000 HP, but I don't know because I haven't tried it without having high Malice. We take Call the Weak, so we instantly kill demons that are below 25% HP. And we also take Sigma Stance, and both of those come from Corrupted Shrines. And as far as I can tell, your first one that you'll get, your first Corrupted Shrine that you get, always gives you Sigma Stance, and the second one always gives Cold Weak. I don't know if that's true, but that seems to be what it is. So Sigma Stance says demons lose 33% HP when spawned, so they basically spawn at 67% of their health. And your critical chance is always 0, and critical shrines are rerolled into another type, which is perfectly fine for us. And so then what Call the Weak does with Sigma Stance is it basically means that we already have our demons down to 42% of their health. And that's all that we have to worry about is 42% of their health. And so that's super helpful when your amount of damage dealt is just going to be based on percentages of health. So we took Tailwind, we only leveled that up to level 4, but we took as many levels in Fortification as we could. Now we took Tailwind because we want the evolution of it. And so for our Clairvoyance, the evolution that we took was just the regular evolution, which is Sage Slayer. When you kill an elite demon, kill all non-elite demons. We took as many levels into Reverberation as we could, and I'll explain why in just a second. We take as many levels into Acrobatics as we can because our dodge chance is like the biggest part of our defenses that we have. We took as many levels into Demon Feast as we can, but we don't actually level that one up in the main menu, which I'll go over which ones you have to level up in the main menu in a second. So the reason why we take Tailwind is to get Soundbreaker, which repeatedly damages and knocks back nearby demons. And so what that does is it triggers our Call the Weak on every single demon around us. And so that makes it so that our spells don't actually have to hit anything because we just have a damaging aura. Then from the Corrupted Shrines, you're going to want to take as many anomalies as you can. And so you can get a maximum of 8 of those, and you do have to take one of the evolutions. And I recommend taking the Mutation of Anomaly, which is Bend the Rules. It gives you more illegal spell damage, which doesn't really matter for us, but it gives us more rerolls, and we really need the rerolls because this is a very specific build. So the reason why you take the anomalies to get Smuggler Shrines is because we need a lot of specific upgrades from Smuggler Shrines. Crystal Blood is one of them. Regeneration recovers Energy Shield instead of HP, while Energy Shield is at least 1, and it gives us 7 base Energy Shield. Another one that we get from the Smuggler Shrines is we take Prey Animal. We get 3 of those. Max HP plus 100% armor minus 2. Then we take Discipline. Energy Shield recharge is not interrupted by damage, but cannot recharge Energy Shield above 70%. We take 2 Modern Engineering's Energy Shield plus 100% armor minus 2. And we take, there's a couple other ones. We take Reclamation. We gain Energy Shield equal to 50% of our reserved HP. And we take Petrified Blood. When you lose HP, the amount is reduced by a percentage equal to your reserved HP to a maximum minus 50%. So basically what that does is it increases our HP, our effective health pool, by the amount of reserved HP that we have. Now that one's definitely optional, and if you don't take it, you can get a lot more Energy Shield, because I didn't realize that it only affects your health pool and not your Energy Shield pool. So basically you don't need Petrified Blood. You could take another Modern Engineering if you wanted, and that would probably work pretty well. I'm trying to see if there's anything else, and it doesn't look like there is. So the only thing to make sure that you do is get Toxic Blizzard. You don't, and to get Smoke Rush. So get those 2, and then you can get the other Corrupted Shrine abilities that I showed you. So as far as the rest of the things that we take Mind Over Matter, we take Behemoth, we take Brutality as many levels as we can get because we want projectile size to make our Toxic Blizzard hit as many things as we can. We take Synthesis for more flowers, but we don't take the evolution of it. We take Cybernetics as many as we can get, and what this will do is it'll reserve 40% of our HP, and that gives us base HP as Energy Shield because of one of our corrupted abilities, and then it also gives us base energy shield on top of that just from the cybernetics, and then we get energy shield percentages, which is how we stack. We take Deathbound as many levels as we can get because that makes demons lose a percentage of their HP each second. We take Dark Moon to get freeze chance, and we actually end up with all the Corrupted Shrine upgrades anyway if you go further into the game, but Dark Moon's one of the more important ones because it gives us a chance to freeze. It also gives us a chance to freeze when we dodge, and we have 65% chance to dodge, which means that we always freeze something when we dodge, basically, and so then that makes them explode, which is good for us. We take Mighty Guard. Every 12 seconds we become reinforced for 5 seconds. Damage reduction over 100% causes demons to heal you, and we obviously have that right now. We take God Slap to give knockback affected by projectile size. It's not necessary, because eventually knockback won't matter at all. We take Satiate. Whenever you kill an elite demon, regenerate 77% of your HP over 1.3 seconds. This is really helpful in the early game, not so much in the later game. Then we take Volition. We get mana recharge speed plus 25%. Take as many of those as you can. And then we take Rapid Recovery. Cast speed applies regeneration speed. That's another big help in survivability, and it gives us 30% cast speed. We take Beast Eye to give another maximum spell. I've been told that having additional maximum spells doesn't really affect damage, and that's definitely true, but I think it affects survivability a lot when you take utility spells, so I do recommend taking it. We take Soul Split, max HP converted to energy shield plus 50%. So basically, half of our HP becomes base energy shield, increases your HP by 13%, your energy shield by 13%. And because half of our HP becomes maximum energy shield, and we get like a maximum of 2,000 HP, but it's probably higher than that. So we're going to take half of that and turn it into my base energy shield, and then we're going to double it. Well, actually, we're going to triple it and then add on all our other energy shield increasing effects, which is how we end up with 10,000 energy shield. It's really insane. We take Jump Start. So whenever we spend mana, which is your right click, which lets you dash, you recover 7 energy shield and immediately begin recharging energy shield. And our recharge can't be stopped by damage, but it only recharges up to 70%, but that's like 7,000. So we immediately recharge up to 7,000 energy shield. So basically we don't die. As long as you can dash, we don't die. And so we take Mind Explosion, we take as many of those as we can, which gives us maximum mana, and then we take Solitary Shell, which gives us an additional maximum mana, and then we get 13 energy shield per each mana. And that's base energy shield, which is affected by all of our energy shield buffs, which is actually what's going to push you over 10,000. And we take Clarity to give us 2 max mana, and whenever an elite demon dies, we fully recover our mana. And you can use this to dash through demons and instantly kill them, because we took Silent Assassin, which I forgot to explain, but whenever you dodge a non-elite demon, you instantly kill them, and when you dodge an elite demon, they lose 7% of their current health, which is how we kill most things, actually. Then we take, like, all of the Corrupted Shrine buffs, basically. You don't have to take them, and I would actually recommend not taking Massacre, because Fury, what it does is it makes you take 13% more damage, although it's not really enough for you to die. But trust me, some of these will really lag you out. For example, if you take Skewer to increase piercing, that will start to lag you because there'll be more projectiles on screen at the same time. So if you can avoid taking them, that's probably a good idea. So that's kind of what the build is, and it works really well, as seen by this. And because we have Second Chance, if you ever actually get down to your HP and you get close to dying, it'll save you and stop you from dying. And then what you can do is you can immediately dash and start your energy shield recharge. And so I don't think it's possible for you to die if you're paying attention. Like, it's really hard, and you'd have to get a lot further than I am to even die. But I'm pretty much ready to die on this build. I still have both my revives that I started the game with, and I hit all the goals that I wanted to hit with this build, which was 1,000 minutes, 1 million demons killed, and 1 billion damage. So, yep. But this is the build. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to help you the best that I can. Oh yeah, that's right. I do need to show you something else. So I'm going to quickly die. This is probably the best shrine to have to die, because they can... Okay, well, we cleared it. But it can shotgun you. Okay, we died. Perfect. So this is what we had here. I'm gonna quickly grab a screenshot. So 7 million total score. I don't know if that's high or not, but definitely everything else was pretty good. I wish I had gotten 2 more flowers to hit an even 500, but it was definitely possible. Like, I purposely tried to die there. So you could take this build probably a lot farther than I went. And as far as what you actually want to have upgraded, I'll just go through them really quickly. So I took Defiance, Second Chance, 2 points into damage control, 1 into mana, 1 into Cascade, 3 into damage, which is not, you don't have to do that, but it's helpful in the early game. 5 into regeneration, 4 into max HP, all of them into reroll. I don't know how many that is. Nearly all of them into banish, although you don't need that many, but it's helpful. 2 into Smuggler's Favor, that gives you 2 free rerolls each Smuggler's Shrine, which is really helpful. You could grab mana recharge speed if you wanted to, and I think that would be pretty helpful. I took as many into damage reduction, dodge, chance, knockback, and experience as I could. 1 revive, 1 astral barrier, because you really only need that one, and that'll help with invincibility occasionally, which will keep you from dying every now and again. I've put 1 into overlevel, which isn't necessary at all. As far as mutations, you want brain power, reverberation, lethality, although you don't need that one because we're not actually going to take that one, but it's just kind of there. And then I took soul split, clairvoyance, which you don't need, juggernaut, cybernetics, acrobatics, and demon feast, and mind explosion. And then anomaly is helpful but not necessary, and dark moon is definitely helpful because that increases your freeze duration. So those are the ones that I would recommend. Shotgun's not bad if you end up getting them all. It's definitely helpful. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we would want from these, but no, I think that that's fine. And bounty hunter might not be a bad choice either if you can afford it. As far as unbinding, I took all the thickening I could, all the juggernaut I could, as many cybernetics as I could. If I could have got the last one, the build would have been even more broken. As many into fortification and acrobatics as I could, as many into anomaly, mind expansion, and dark moon. The rest of them are helpful if you can afford them. The ones that I would recommend are probably the surplus and maybe string of ears, but those are like the only ones that are super helpful. Otherwise you're going to run into problems with not having enough levels to get everything. And then as far as malice goes, I went max into movement speed, entropy, horde, and that's all. And that'll get you as much as you need to do everything. So that's the build. It works pretty well, and I've stuck the player and enemy speed up 110%. If you move it down a bit, you can probably get further without having as much FPS lag. But so that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.